Now we have to study each of the application layer protocols in detail. And here it is HTTP. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocols. This is a client-server application working at the application layer. And HTTP protocol is used to define how a client-server program can be written to retrieve web pages from the web. The communication or exchanges of messages between the client and server is in the form of HTTP request and HTTP response. The client sends messages to the server with HTTP request and the server returns to the client with the help of HTTP response. Then HTTP uses the services of TCP, its underlying layers. Since TCP is connection oriented and reliable, we are enabled to ensure the HTTP as a reliable protocol. Here the client initiates the TCP connection to the server using port number 80. Then server is always on and it is capable to receive the request from the clients. Then the server accepts the TCP connection from the client. Then the connection is established between the client and the server. Then HTTP messages are exchanged between the browser and the server in order to establish the connection. Once the connection is established, the data transfer between the client and server is happening. After the communication, the TCP connection is closed. TCP is a connection-oriented and reliable protocol. HTTP works in two different methods. One method is non-persistent and another method is persistent. As we know, a web page contains several objects and some page may require several request and response for each object. For example, in a single page, if there are 3 or 4 objects, then we need that much number of connection establishment. If we need a separate TCP connection for each object to receive, it is referred to as non-persistent. Whereas multiple objects can be sent over a single TCP connection, then it is persistent. Here it is explaining the non-persistent method of retrieving pages in an HTTP connection. Suppose the user wants to retrieve the page www.someschool.edu / a particular page, and we assume that it contains 10 different JPEG images. So in the step number 1, the connection is established. HTTP client initiates the TCP connection to the server at port number 80. Then the server is always on and it is ready to receive the request from the client. Then HTTP server at the host receives the connection and it responds back to the client. So in the second step only, it is requesting for the actual page. The first step 1A and 1B is used for establishing the connection. As the time goes, the second step comes and it requests for the actual page. Then the server is generating the page requested by the client and it sends the requested object. That means it is returning a single object to the client. Then once the requested object is received, the server closes the TCP connection. Then for the second object, again the client has to generate a request. Then again the connection has to be established. then send the second object, and so on. And this has to be repeated for all the 10 different objects. So the step number 1 to 5 has to be repeated for each object. This is how the non-persistent connection works. In non-persistent connection, the connection establishment takes 2 RTTs. That means RTT is a round trip time. It is the time required for a packet to travel from client to server and back. From client to the server and return. These together form one RTT. And one RTT to take the TCP connection establishment. This much time for connection establishment. And this message is for requesting the exact page. And a return RTT which contains few bytes of HTTP response. That is actual data. Part of some bytes of the actual data to be transmitted is also included in the return RTT message. So for an entire non-persistent connection establishment, we require 2 RTT plus file transmission time. For each object, this has to be repeated. Here it is a comparison between non-persistent HTTP and persistent HTTP. Non-persistent HTTP requires 2 RTT for each object. And this overhead is taken by the operating system. Then the browsers often open parallel TCP connections to fetch referenced objects. For example, if we need 10 objects, then 5 parallel connections are established. That is one solution to improve the efficiency in non-HTTP. But in the usual scenario, persistent HTTP is the one which is working behind. HTTP 1.1 is a version and it is by default uses persistent connection. Then server leaves the connection open after sending the response message. The connection is not closed. And subsequent HTTP messages between the same client and server is open through the open connection. And once the data transmission is finished, then only it closes the connection. So one RTT for the entire reference objects. And another advantage is the time and resources are saved in the persistent connection. Here it is the format of HTTP request and response messages. You must by heart this figure also. So first part of the request message is method. The method can be get, post, head, etc. And next is a URL required. Then version of the protocol. Version of the protocol is must in both the format, because if the client uses HTTP 1.1, then the server must agree with this version. Then only the transmission between the server and client come into exist. Then next is a header field name. A set of header fields are there and various header fields are sent. Then only the actual body of the request, or suppose actual body of the message is sent, and this is representing the actual body. In the response message also there is a pattern, that is version number, then the status code. Status code means suppose when I request for a particular page, if that page is not available in the server, then it will generate a 404 error. You might have seen that page 404, file not found, page not found. So this kind of 404 is an example of a status code. Such kind of codes are sent back to the client, from the server. And phrase means the sentence associated with the status code, that is 404, then followed by the message. page not found, and a set of header files, then the actual body of the message. So every request response messages run from client to server and return in this pattern only. So this is what the general format of the request response messages. Then here SP stands for the space, etc. And CR stands for the carriage return or enter key. It represents the enter key. And LF stands for the line feed or the new line \n. So CR, LF, CR, LF, CR, LF is repeated in every end of line, and the space is provided for separating each of the fields in the messages. So this in this pattern only the server can identify a request message and client can identify a response message. If this standard pattern is known to the server and the client, then only it can parse the message and display it on the screen. So this is how the HTTP works. And so here it is displayed a sample request message, and you don't need to by heart all these things just to understand which are the fields. And the first one is a method may be either get or post. This you might have studied in the web programming, which type of request is generated by the client to the server, and followed by a space, and then followed by the actual requested page, then followed by space, then the version, that is HTTP 1.1 is the version, then followed by character line feed and carriage return and line feed /n, and then followed by a set of header lines. The header lines, you don't need to by heart all these things just to understand various header lines are there, and each of these header lines are having different meanings, which is encoding type and which is a characteristic set used in the server, and all these must be in agreement with the client and the server. Then next is an example of a response message. Here also again the version number is the first one, HTTP 1.1. The server and the client uses the same version. Then the status code. The status code, various status codes are there. 200 is a sample code, and 404 you might have seen that. Then the followed by the phrase or the message. Okay, 200 okay means the requested page is available. If it is not available, 404 file page not found, it will be the message, and followed by the set of header lines, and this also depending on the type of the message and all these things, then followed by the actual set of data is stored. Okay, this much only for the HTTP, and thank you.